Today's lesson is Truffles, the Unlikely Treasure. Hello, everyone. I'm Roger.
And I'm Helen.
And today we're going to continue talking about truffles, or as our title describes them, they are the unlikely treasure. Okay, so it's something very valuable that I'm guessing mostly only rich people can afford, but you're not particularly rich, Helen. Nothing personal there, but you've had them before, so I guess regular folks can have them too.
Right. I've had them on special occasions. I've had them when I was in Italy because it's more common there. They're found locally in Italy, so they don't cost as much as when you would have them in Taiwan.
So in Taiwan, of course, you'd probably have to import them from Italy or France, and then it would be more expensive. But hey, you get to go to Italy quite frequently, so I guess you're pretty used to these things.
I'm not really used to them because I still get a thrill out of eating truffles, but I've had truffles in situations that didn't cost as much as normally they would cost.
Well, that sounds like a good excuse to make a reservation for Italy there. I've never been there before. Maybe I should go just to try truffles. So remember last time we said that they're even more expensive than saffron or caviar, and we also talked about how much a Macau businessman paid for one. And let's see, what else did we talk about? We said that they are found by these truffle hunting pigs and dogs in the forests of France and Italy.
That's right. They are found in the forests of France and Italy, and then they make their way to restaurants around the world.
Indeed. So we're going to talk some more about truffles in today's program. So, hey, let's not delay any further. Let's listen to the first part of our lesson right now.
There is nothing new about this love for truffles. They were already gracing tables in Egypt more than 2,000 years ago. The ancient Greeks believed truffles were created when lightning struck wet ground, making them a precious food item. They, along with the Romans, saw them as powerful medicine.
各位好，第一部分我们看到一个单字 grace， 这个字是动词，只为点点点增色或使点点点增加光彩。例如 Gina graced the pages of several fashion magazines when she was a model. Gina 担任模特时，让多本时尚杂志增添了光彩。又或者说 The celebrity magician graced the party with his presence and performed some impressive tricks. 那位知名魔术师现身为派对增色不少，还表演令人赞叹的把戏。再来我们看到一个片语 see A as B， 表示认为点点点为点点点，或将点点点视为点点点。除了可以用 see 之外，还可以使用 view, regard, refer to, think of。举例来说I see this job as a good opportunity to learn more about international business. 我将这份工作视为学习国贸的好机会。也可以说 Many people think of golf as a game rather than a true sport. 许多人将高尔夫视为一种游戏，而非真正的运动。
Okay, so maybe you've never heard of truffles before. Maybe you think it's kind of a new food fad. But no, there is nothing new about this love for truffles. They were already gracing tables in Egypt more than 2,000 years ago. So it's not a new food fad. It's been around for thousands of years. And we're describing truffles as having graced tables in Egypt. Now here, grace is being used as a verb. When I hear the word grace, I often hear it in a religious sense, like amazing grace. But here it's being used as a verb, right?
Right. It's being used as a verb here, and it means that truffles have been used in Egypt to add a little something special to make the table spread a little bit more attractive for over 2,000 years.
Right. To grace as a verb just means it adds a special flavor to something or it makes something extra special. I know we used to say this to other people back in university. Oh, it's so nice of you to grace us with your presence. In other words, it's so nice that you decided to stop by. It's so special having you here with us today. But here, of course, Truffles were already gracing tables. They were already making meals special way back in ancient Egypt more than 2,000 years ago. Now, the ancient Greeks believed truffles were created when lightning struck wet ground, making them a precious food item. Ooh, what an original story to explain the origin of truffles. This is what the ancient Greeks believed, that the truffles were created when lightning struck wet ground, and that caused truffles to grow underground. I wonder if there's any scientific proof of that.
I suppose the ancient Greeks also thought that truffles were a very special food, and they must have loved truffles very much as well to attribute such a mythological story to the origin of truffles. So it does seem that truffles have been around for quite some time and appreciated for thousands of years.
Indeed. So, of course, when the lightning, that's the light you hear, the sound is the thunder, and then the flash of light is the lightning. So the lightning struck the wet ground, and that made these precious food items. So making here is a result of something. The lightning struck the ground, and that made the truffles a precious food item. Yeah, any food that's made from lightning would be extremely special. Maybe if you ate it, it would let you live forever. Now, here in the next sentence, it says, they, along with the Romans, saw them as powerful medicine. So here they is referring to the ancient Greeks. So they, together with the Romans, saw them as powerful medicine. So basically this means that the Greeks and the Romans thought that truffles were a powerful medicine. So here we've got this phrase, to see something as something.
Right. When you see something as something else, you consider the first thing as the second thing. So, for instance, I could say everyone saw the new president as the answer to all of the country's problems.
Boy, wouldn't that be nice if that were true? It seems like every president who gets elected disappoints everybody in the end. Well, at least half of the voters get disappointed. But in any case here, yes, both the Greeks and the Romans considered truffles as some kind of powerful medicine. Let's continue now to the next part of our lesson. We're going to listen to it first.
During the Middle Ages, truffles' reputation took a hit because the fungus became associated with the devil. Superstition drove truffles off the dinner table, and they nearly disappeared from use, until the Renaissance and the reign of Louis XIV of France. For the wealthy king and his court, life was luxurious, and the popularity of truffles was once again on the rise.
第二部分我们看到一个单字 associate 是动词，指使有关联或把点点点联想在一起，常常使用 be 或 become associated with 名词来表示和点点点有关联。例如 Audiences mostly associate the actor with comedies, not serious dramas. 观众大部分对这位演员会联想到喜剧，而不是剧情片。接着我们看到名词 superstition 有迷信之意，像是 According to superstition, breaking a mirror will give you 7 years of bad luck. 根据许多迷信，摔破镜子会带来7年的坏运气。另外，补充的形容词 superstitious, superstitious, superstitious 指迷信的。我们可以说 Craig is very superstitious.He won't perform without wearing his lucky socks. Craig 非常迷信，每次演出一定要穿着他的幸运袜。再来，我们看到一个片语 on the rise， 指提升、增加，多用来表示数量、程度等的提升、增加、上涨。例如 Temperatures are on the rise as global warming continues to heat our planet. 随着全球暖化持续让地球加温，气温一直在上升。而 on the rise 还可以表示事业、人气、成功受到欢迎。举例来说 With more and more buzz and media attention, the musician is clearly on the rise. 那名音乐家受到越来越多话题与媒体关注，显然他人气正旺。另外补充一个也可以指提升、增加的片语 on the increase, I-N-C-R-E-A-S-E, increase. 所以我们可以说 Over the years, the number of thefts in the neighborhood has been on the increase. 这几年以来，这个区域的窃盗数量不断增加。
So we're looking at the history of truffles, and we saw that both ancient Egyptians and ancient Greeks really appreciated truffles, loved them, and the Greeks actually thought that they came as a result of lightning striking the ground. Now, how about the Middle Ages? During this period, truffles' reputation took a hit because the fungus became associated with the devil. So before, they were associated with positive things, and now all of a sudden they have very bad connotations.
Right. So this happened during the Middle Ages, and people were more superstitious back in those times. So truffles before that had a good reputation. People considered them good food. You know, as we mentioned before, the Greeks and the Romans thought they were some kind of powerful medicine. But by the time we got to the Middle Ages or the medieval era, truffles had a bad reputation. Reputation, of course, is how other people think about you or how they think about a certain thing. If you are an outstanding member of society, you contribute to charities, you're nice to people, you're considered a good all-around nice guy, then you will have a good reputation. But if you're the opposite, if you're a criminal, you sell drugs, you kill people, you run from the police, that means you have a bad reputation.
That's right. And in the sentence, we have another word, which is associated. When you associate one thing with another, you form connections between them in your mind. So, for instance, the color red is often associated with love, and black cats are associated with bad luck.
Good examples there. Although I've known plenty of nice black cats in my life, so that's probably a superstition. But yes, this happened in the Middle Ages. The reputation took a hit. It was attacked, and it lost its good reputation. And this fungus, these truffles here, became associated with the devil. If you eat truffles, then you are running with the devil. You are evil, and you're going to go to hell and burn forever. Okay, so I've been mentioning this word superstition a couple of times. So superstition drove truffles off the dinner table, and they nearly disappeared from use until the Renaissance and the reign of Louis XIV of France. So we've got superstition. That's basically just a belief in the supernatural, right?
Right, that is the belief about something that is not based on facts or science. And the Middle Ages was a period of intense religiosity. People were very religious, and they probably didn't like truffles because people loved eating them so much. They derived so much pleasure from eating the truffles that people thought, they must be bad. Why are people so happy, and why are people loving this so much? So it must be associated with the devil.
Yes, if you're having a good time, if you enjoy your life, you're happy, you're singing, well, then there must be something bad happening there. You're not supposed to be so happy. You're not supposed to be so joyous. It must have something to do with the devil. Ooh.
That was the Middle Ages.
That was the Middle Ages. Things are a little different now, but again, because of superstition, believing the devil was everywhere, they thought, well, we better not have those truffles on the dinner table. And they almost totally disappeared from use. Of course, they're still growing underground there, but people weren't eating them, at least not as much. But then they had a comeback in the Renaissance, which is a period of history there when arts and thoughts and literature and stuff had a rebirth. That's what Renaissance means. That's the that's the American pronunciation, Renaissance. If you're talking to someone from England, they're likely going to say Renaissance. But it's the same period of history. So truffles made a comeback during that time. And also they made a comeback during the reign of Louis XIV of France.
That's right. The Renaissance usually is attributed to the period between the 15th century and the 17th century, depending on which country you're talking about in Europe. And in France, the reign of Louis XIV was symbolized the highlight, the main point of the Renaissance. And here, the word reign means the time that a king or a queen is the ruler of a country. So the reign of Louis XIV was the time when Louis XIV was the king of France.
Right. You can use this for any kind of monarch. The reign of the last emperor of China, for example, the reign of Louis XIV, the reign of Queen Elizabeth in England, etc. So yes, Louis XIV, boy, he loved to be a show-off, okay? He was a wealthy king, so it says here in the next sentence, for the wealthy king and his court, life was luxurious, and the popularity of truffles was once again on the rise. So Louis XIV, of course, and his court, everybody around him in the palace there, the queen and the princes and the princesses and stuff like that, all the dukes or whatever, they lived a luxurious life. They spent lots of money on luxuries. So the popularity of truffles came back again. Popularity just refers to how much something is popular.
Right. It means when something or someone is popular or liked by many people. And on the rise here basically means increasing, becoming greater or more successful. So when the popularity of something is on the rise, that thing is becoming more and more popular.
Right. Or more common, we could say unemployment is on the rise, or air pollution is on the rise. It's getting worse and worse. That is a problem for Taiwan here. It does seem like air pollution is on the rise. So, yeah, we need to have some fresh air again. But again, the popularity of truffles returned. Truffles, again, were hot. They were trendy. They were an item that lots of people wanted to enjoy. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's bring things up to the present day now.
These days, about a dozen types of truffles are harvested and eaten, but two are particularly famous. One is the French Périgord, or black truffle. Its strong flavor makes it good for cooking, especially with eggs or in sauces. But the true king of truffles is the rare Italian white truffle. It's best fresh, shaved onto pastas or risottos for an extra burst of flavor. In 2017, the average price for white truffles reached a record high of more than $7,000 per kilogram. Not bad for an ugly fungus.
最后第三部分，我们看到名词 pasta 指意大利面食，像是 Leo loves eating pasta that is covered in cream sauce and a little bit of cheese. Leo 爱吃白酱 cheese 意大利面。
Now, we've learned that the truffle has had a long history. It's gone through periods of popularity and decline when people thought they were associated with devils. And today, however, it's popular once again.
It is. So these days, about a dozen types of truffles are harvested and eaten, but two are particularly famous. So for me, this, of course, is a lesson as well. I don't know much about truffles, but now I'm finding out that there are about a dozen kinds of truffles, a dozen different species of truffles, if you will, that are harvested and eaten. But two of them are especially famous. Two of them are particularly famous.
One of them is the French Périgord, or black truffle, and it has a strong flavor, and the strong flavor makes it good for cooking, especially with eggs or in sauces. But we find that the true king of truffles is the rare Italian white truffle.
Okay, so that's probably one you're most familiar with there, Helen, because you enjoy traveling to Italy there. So is that the one you had when you were in Italy, the white truffle?
The white truffle is usually much more expensive than the black truffle. So it's rare, and actually I've had the black truffle more than the white truffle.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yeah.
So it does say here that the black truffle, I guess, is more from France here because it's got a fancy French name there. But, you know, Italy's close to France there. So, of course, I'm sure they pass them around, but they are expensive, of course. And so we are describing the white truffle as being the king of truffles. So I suppose it's like you said there, it's rarer. Okay, so therefore it's probably more expensive and more valued.
And the taste and scent are more intense.
Okay, so you can probably tell the difference between different kinds of truffles if you're an expert. And here we're going to continue talking about the white truffle. It says, it's best fresh, shaved onto pastas or risottos for an extra burst of flavor. So it's best fresh. That means it has the best flavor when you have it fresh, not after it's been put in the refrigerator or something like that. And here we're shaving it onto pastas. We're not using razor blades here, are we?
No, you can use a grater to shave it, and you don't want to cook it with your pasta or your rice. You don't want to have it heated up or in a sauce for too long because that just takes away the flavor. Usually they're eaten raw, and you just shave a little bit over your dish.
Okay, so you've already cooked the pasta dish and then you shave some over it, or a risotto. Risotto is like a rice dish in Italian cooking, and pasta, of course, refers to all those different kinds of noodles, spaghetti, linguine, fettuccine, etc., etc. And that gives you an extra burst of flavor. It makes it taste so much better.
Yep, it makes the dish taste just that more special.
And recently, in the year 2017, the average price for white truffles reached a record high of more than $7,000 per kilogram. My goodness, I'd probably have to work 4 or 5 months to make that kind of money. That sounds pretty expensive to me. I'm only going to have it if somebody offers it to me.
All right, I get the hint.
Well, not you necessarily. Maybe one of our rich students or something like that. But this is not bad for an ugly fungus. So yes, it's a fungus that grows underground. But hey, it's doing quite well, and you can spend a lot of money on it. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Let's hear from our Chinese teacher now.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分的第3句提到 The ancient Greeks believed truffles were created when lightning struck wet ground, making them a precious food item. 古希腊人认为松露是在闪电击中潮湿的地面时所创造的，使它们成为一种珍贵的食物。好，这边我们来学习 which 代指前方子句的用法。当我们的先行词是事物的时候呢，会用 which 来当关系代名词去指那个事物。不过 which 也可以用来指前方整个子句，来对它做补充说明。那这时候它是非限定用法， which 的前面要加逗号。我们来举个例子。We spent the morning making a birthday cake for our friend, which was great fun. 我们那个早上在做生日蛋糕给朋友，玩得很开心。好，那例句里面 which was great fun 这个 which 就是指前面那一句，也就是说我们整个早上在做生日蛋糕给朋友的这一件事情，来说明这件事是令人开心的事。好，那么课文的句子虽然没有看到 which， 可是句子里面的 making 它就是从 which makes 省略而来的。它本来可以写作 The ancient Greeks believed truffles were created when lightning struck wet ground, which makes them a precious food item. 其中这个 which 就是指前一句说松露是在闪电击中潮湿地面所创造的这一件事情，然后 which makes them a precious food item 就表示那一件事情使松露成为一种珍贵食物，只是他把关系代名词 which 省略，然后再把 makes 这个主动动词变成现在分词 making。 好，接着读到课文下一句They, along with the Romans, saw them as powerful medicine. 古希腊人和罗马人都将松露视为功能强大的药物。好，这边要介绍的是 along with 的用法。第一种呢，就是课文的用法，它表示连同以及或是和什么什么一起，也就是他说 they along with the Romans 就是希腊人和罗马人。好，例如 Amy along with her husband and children will be attending the event. Amy 连同她的丈夫和小孩会一起出席那场活动。 好，那第二个用法是指除了什么什么之外还有什么，这时候它的意思就相当于 in addition to 或者是 besides， 像是 along with the skirt, she also bought a hat and a scarf。 除了那件裙子之外，她还买了一顶帽子和一条围巾。好，另外提醒一下，课文句子里面还用到 see A as B 的句型来表达将 A 视为 B， 认为 A 是 B。 saw them as powerful medicine 就表示将松露视为功能强大的药物。那这个用法里面的动词 see 你也可以换成 view, regard, think of 等等来替换。那么 as 的后面你除了接名词也可以接形容词。好，例如说 She regards Susan as her best friend 就表示她把 Susan 视为最要好的朋友。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Grace. Several beautiful paintings graced Ivy's living room. Reputation. The sales department's manager has a reputation for being hard to please. Associate. Lenora associates roses with her grandmother because they were her favorite flower. Superstition. The superstition that it's unlucky to open an umbrella indoors may come from ancient Egypt. Reign. Remaining king for 72 years, Louis XIV of France had one of the longest reigns ever recorded. Popularity. Years after the game was first released, its popularity suddenly rose again. Pasta. Short, tube-shaped pastas pair well with thick sauces, especially meat-based ones.
Discussion starter starts now!
Time now for our discussion starter. Here comes the question, Helen. Do you think it's worth it to pay so much for truffles?
Well, I think truffles are worth the cost because they're very difficult to find and they taste great. So if a person has the opportunity to taste it once in their lives, then it's probably worth it.
Well, to me, no food is worth that much money because we need to use the money for space exploration. We need to spend it on developing new rockets and interstellar drives and things like that. It's very important for people to learn how to travel to the nearest star. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.